This is called The Giant Bird, though I don't think that's a good title. Anyway, there was a boy. The boy was born with boots on his feet. As he grew, the boots grew too. And the boy had, his name was Oni, by the way. And Oni had a second gift or strange ability. He could not die. He was immortal. He could not die, and people were afraid of him. And so they asked him to leave his town, and he left. And he went from town to town, place to place. One day he came to a town, and bells were ringing. It was near dark, near evening, and the bells were ringing very loud, and people were running everywhere, running to their homes. An old man was there, and Oni said, I have no place to go. Will you take me in for the night? Sure, come, but hurry. So they hurried to the man's house, shut the door. Everybody did so. What's happening? What are people doing? Every night, a giant bird, Anodo, comes. And that bird is like a vulture, I think. And that bird kills any person it sees that's outside at night. And so everyone spends the night at home in great fear. Just then, darkness, it sounded like wind, like a terrible wind outside. And the giant bird was flying around in the sky above the town, and its wings were flapping like a giant wind, and everyone was afraid. The next day, Oni said, I will kill this bird. And so he went to the king of the city, and he said, I will kill this bird for you. And the king said, anyone who can kill this bird, I will give half of my kingdom to. Then I will try. That night, the bells rang, everyone ran and hid, cowered in their homes, but Oni stayed outside. He had his knife, his bow, and his arrows, and he stood bravely there. He wasn't afraid. He knew he wouldn't die. Immortality gives fearlessness, I would think. So the bird attacked him, but the boy first shot an arrow, cut him, but the bird clawed him and picked him up and took him into the sky. Then Oni cut the bird's breast, and the bird let him drop, and Oni dropped to the earth, but he wasn't hurt. And the bird attacked again. This time Oni shot an arrow at him, and then they fought, and finally he shot his last arrow, and the bird died on a tree, but the tree and the bird fell on Oni. Oni was exhausted and in pain, but he climbed out from under the tree. But in climbing out from under the tree, he lost one of his boots. And then he dragged himself to the water and drank some water and slept. He was exhausted. That day, people found the bird dead, and the king said, who killed the bird? A hunter said, I killed the bird. Okay, then you will receive half of my kingdom. Later that day, Oni came to the king and said, no, I killed the bird. Look at me. I had the fight with the bird, and go look under the bird, and you will find one of my boots there, if you don't believe me. And the king sent his men there, and yes, there was his boot. And they brought it to him. And Oni said to the boot, Boot from heaven, come and put my leg on. put my leg into you. And the boot magically came to him, and they realized this was a special guy. And so everyone was happy. Oni received half of the kingdom. Now, it seems to me, if Oni had been a bad kind of guy, it would have been a very good idea to remove his boot, put it under the dead body of the bird, and then go tell that story. And what could the hunter do? The boot story does not at all prove that Oni killed the bird, but it was good enough for the king and the people, a folk story, another folk story.